Hey guys, it's Jamie, and in this video I wanted to do a comparison of React versus Angular and which one is my preference. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button below and you can see more videos like this one. I release new videos every once in a while whenever I feel like it. Now, instead of spitting out a bunch of theory like most of the other videos on this topic do, I'm going to show you the actual examples. So I've generated a new project in both React and Angular. And they're both brand new as of 2019. I'm just going to show you out of the box what it gives you and what you can look forward to using with each type of project. So first we're going to start out with Angular. So have a bunch of files here. Probably help if I show you the website. So this is the template that it gives you. So we have welcome to my Angular app. Let's try and find the code that represents that section. So it's in source, app, and then it's this file right here, app.component.html. Okay, so you can see that that app is divided into several files. At least this home page right here is. The first file is the template. It's the HTML code, and this is the template is very declarative, meaning you just declare what you want to see, and then you see what you declared. So like this says welcome to title, and right here it says welcome to, and then title is actually a variable, and the variable is declared inside of app.component.ts. So this is the next file we're going to look at. This is basically like the logic of the app. It can also have variables in it which you can access. So title is right here, and it's accessed inside of the HTML right here. Using these curly braces. Just standard HTML code for the rest of this. And then down here we have a router outlet. Angular actually handles routing for you, meaning like if you visit mywebsite.com/home, that's going to give you different content right here, this router outlet, than mywebsite.com/about or something like that. Okay, and then also we have some styling. This one is empty right here, but I'll just show you an example style. I'm just gonna style all the header tags to be like color red. So that is also very declarative, just like the HTML. So HTML is declarative and the SCSS is declarative. And you can see I changed the header tag to be red, just that easy. And then the TypeScript file is not declarative, it's what's called imperative. And the difference between the two is basically with declarative, you are just basically like defining what you want to happen, like representing it as some sort of object. So you can see like these tags are clearly declarative, like I'm not telling anything to happen, I'm just declaring what I want to happen. Like there's no logic involved, it's just declaring like an object. Okay, and then in the TypeScript it's very different because in here you can have like a constructor, and then in here you can do any sort of logic and put all sorts of methods in here to do different things. And so what's inside of here is just very standard imperative programming. Basically just have a class, and then the class has a constructor to start it off, and then you can call functions and other things, and this is imperative. It is not declarative. The only thing you're declaring really here is the class. And the reason I'm pointing this out so heavily is we're going to contrast this with React, because that's really the biggest difference, is the declarative versus imperative. We have a bunch of other files. There's like a testing file, an assets folder, but I've covered mostly what I want to cover already for the Angular app. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to React. Okay, so with my React app, I'll show you first what it looks like over here. So you can see I just have this icon right here, also just a very basic page. I'm just going to show you the difference between the files because they're both just really simple pages. I want to show you what the actual difference is. So we have a CSS file, and this is like CSS is the same for both of them. essentially. Like for Angular, I chose to use SCSS, which is like a variant of CSS that's like slightly more modular, but they're really pretty similar. Anyways, so CSS is the same. The real difference is in the app.js. Okay, so first difference is that instead of being a TypeScript file, over here, Angular forces you to use TypeScript, so this is .ts. Down here, we are actually using a JS file, and the difference between TypeScript and JavaScript, or JS, is that TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript, meaning it has additional functionality. Specifically, there are types, and what that means is that while you're programming, you can like hover over things and it will tell you like what type they are. Like right here it says title is of type string, and that comes in real handy because like if I'm typing down here and I want to do something with the title, it can autocomplete things for me down here, like these are just all the methods of a string. Like I can grab a substring, yeah, whatever. But basically, it's really nice that it forces you to use TypeScript because it's a lot easier to debug the code, and I think it just makes a cleaner logic for your code. Now, now I've opened up the React homepage just so you can see. It says it's a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. So right off the bat, that should tell you that their focus is not on TypeScript, it's on JavaScript. So attempting to do anything with React and TypeScript is going to be like going against like what they stand for. Like they're a JavaScript library. I think you can get TypeScript working with them, but like it's not the default supported thing. Yeah. Okay. So now let's compare the this TypeScript file to the JavaScript file from the React app. And so the first thing you'll probably notice is that the HTML file is not here. There's no app.html. And that's because React has opted to merge the HTML file with the JavaScript file. So like the logic, it's not really logic based. I'll explain that in a second. But basically the JavaScript file and the TypeScript file, they've been merged into one, and now they're just a JavaScript file, and the HTML is declared in there. So here we have the header, app header, and it has the logo. So that's where this logo is coming from. And then we have a message. It's a paragraph, edit this, and save to reload. Okay, so I'm just going to make a change because it's asking me to reload, so I'm just going to show you that that works. Just like the Angular one worked with the, I changed the header to red. I'm going to change this to be all caps reload, and I saved that, and there it is. So we got our change, so they both live reload, that's good. So like whenever you save it, it reloads the page, so you don't have to manually do it every time. It's just nice. And yeah, this is just your standard HTML. They just have some classes, and then they have quite a bit of styling on those classes in the app.css. And it's not really apparent from this example, but it's very important to note that the logic and the HTML have been merged, and they are all together like one declarative file. And so I'm here on their site, and in their tutorial they have like a more complicated example, and in here they show us what it will look like if it's more complicated. But like you can see that the HTML is in the same file, in the same class as all this other stuff, which is interesting. You can probably tell which one I like better based on the way I'm talking, but okay, so I'll just talk about that now. I'll talk about my preference. So I don't like merging the two. Like I don't think that way. I don't think about programming things as like designing an object to represent the thing I'm trying to program. I think very basically I just know that I want to do something, and then I make a function to do it, and then I call that function based on like whatever event happens. and I prefer the logic of the program to be separated from the HTML or the template because I believe in what's called the model view controller pattern. Alright, so I'll show you how Angular follows the model view controller pattern. So the model view controller pattern just simply is that the code for the model, the view, and the controller are all separate. And the reason for keeping them all separate is that the code for each of them is really quite dissimilar. Like the model view and the controller really have almost nothing to do with each other in terms of structure. They're all very different. And so here the view is just simply declaring what to show to the user. It's very declarative. That makes sense. And then, by the way, the CSS is kind of like also part of the view, but it really also has nothing to do with the structure of the HTML, so they separated that out even further. But collectively, you can just think of those two as the view. And then the controller is the HTML. However, often with the model view controller framework, you find that the controller and the model are very tightly coupled. Like the controller quite often needs to manipulate the model, and so the way that Angular chose to structure it is the model is just kind of like variables in this class, which can be accessed in the view, and also they can be directly accessed in here, like before when I was doing this .title. So this would be like the logic or the controller, and then of course this is the model. Yeah, so anyways, I definitely believe in that framework quite a bit. So yeah, that's my opinion, guys. I like Angular because I like to solve problems in a very straightforward, imperative manner, and I can't think in like the 10th dimension and declare the solution to my problem as some object, which is why I don't like using React. I tried to use it for a while because I heard it was faster, but it's really not faster unless you have like 10,000 things on the page and you're trying to change them all at once or something like that. So Angular it's like more complete. It's like it is a framework, whereas React is more of a library. Thanks for watching. Take care. Subscribe.